Hello everyone, welcome to today's session, and this is in continuation of previous session which we have so far covered data structures in Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. We have so far completed 5 sessions, and this will be the sixth session. And from this session we will be covering basically user interface elements in AOT, and previously, as you can see on the right hand side, I have renamed the solution and project to be more precise, because previously I have given the name of data structures, but since we will also be covering user interface, and then we will be also covering business logic, so it will be more feasible to correctly rename it to resort management system, since we are covering this solution, resort management system. So all our tables and data structures, including ADTs and classes, basically classes we have not covered so far. This is only a runnable class. And then base enums, whatever data structure so far we have covered is in relation with this project, which is called a resort management system. So as per your scenario, or your real world example, you can start with any of the example which might be useful for you, for your business, or even if you are learning the system and learning how to code, or if you have a functional requirement for a specific solution, so you can work on that solution, specific solution. So as per your scenario, you can do the same similar kind of practice for your solution. So now in this session, basically we will be starting to create the user interface, because it will also not be been suffice to cover in only single session. So there will be again a series of session, and that will be covering the user interface elements, mostly the forms, menus, and other elements. So normally, we create the tables and forms to basically data entry, to do the, or to support the data entry on the forms. And when you enter the data on the forms, definitely it will be filling up in the tables, and the tables work as a container. And these tables in D365 are basically tables at the back end in SQL Server. So if you have a DB experience, so table is similar to the SQL table. So then we will also be completing or adding or enhancing few more properties in our existing data model, which we have so far covered. And we need to take care whenever we create a form, basically, or multiple forms. So we need to be consistent to the existing already created forms by Microsoft, and those should be similar forms to have a same user experience to the end users. And basically they will also apply the previous knowledge of the forms to the new one, and they will not feel that these forms are different in any aspect than previous forms. So we need to be consistent, and then to be consistent we need to use form design patterns. So the form design patterns are basically driven by the table groups, as we have already discussed in data structures. And we can also have variation, although, but for the main part we will be using the patterns while creating the forms. So basically then these are different stages. Like we have first created data structures, and then we will be creating forms, and then definitely we will be also creating the menu items, which will be the linkers to open the forms. And basically the workflow is the workflow, or the series of steps are just like we need to create the new items, for example table, or form, or menu items, and those can be having the same name in order to be consistent, and in order for a developer or a technical guy to find the same objects related with a module or with a project in the same place or sorted in alphabetical order. Similarly, you will find on existing AOT that all objects are prefixed with as per their module name. So for example, on the left hand side you can see there is a prefix for each of the object. So for example, if you want to see the perch object, so that will be a perch prefix. So similarly, if you want to go to sales object, that will be with sales, and for account payable it will be with vend, and similarly account receivable it will be cust, starting with cust, and fixed asset will be with the asset. And this way, this will be in a sorted way. You can find in AOT what object are related with which module. So this will be consistency in terms of technical aspects. And then after doing this, table forms and menu items are created, and they need to have the similar name. Then we need to definitely create label and help text and object reference properties for the menu item. And menu object reference means whatever object it will be opening, that menu item will be opening. So that we need to be done, and then we need to populate the table labels, and the form design caption property, and then definitely the menu item labels. And in the fourth step, we need to complete the table, and which we have already done. And then fifth step will be basically completing the form design, as we will be doing in this or further sessions. And then in the sixth step there will be definitely the business logic around the form, or whatever the solution, like in our case resort management system is being developed. So if any there is any business logic that need to be implemented to support the form or data entry, or to include the validations, or if there is any computations, so that will go to the business logic. And normally business logic is implemented in classes, and some of the business logic which is relevant to a table or data will be implemented in table methods. And then there will be lastly definitely security keys, and definitely the privileges and duties in order to you know assign those to the users, role and task security. So that is also very important. So now we'll be definitely covering the menu structure, and then we'll be creating a parameter form, and after that we need to create menu items, and then definitely creating the setup forms. And after setup forms we need to create detailed master main table forms, and then after this creating a detailed transaction order entry form. And definitely we'll also cover the form parts, to how to create the form parts, and a workspace in order to create the tiles along with the counters in that workspace. And definitely after creating tiles and counters we need to create also workspace, and then inside the workspace we need to add filters to that workspace. So if we see the menu structure on the left hand side in the user interface, you can see there is a node called menus, and in that node menus you can see menus for each of the module exists already there. And in term of front end, let me open the user interface. So if you expand further, for example accounts payable, so previously in AX 2012 it was a little bit only few nodes were available, like commons would include the forms, and then there was there were few other nodes But in this one, it is even more nodes available. Like common is now split, for example, in list pages, and further, the vendor grouping, and then purchase orders. Purchase orders is in separate, then vendor invoices that was previously in journals. If there were journals, so that was a node in AX 2012, and payments was also in journal, and then there was inquiries and reports, and then there was a setup folder which is already there, but now different other folders have been also part of D365 finance and operations. So now in the user interface, you can see there is a burger menu here. It looks similar to a burger or a hamburger. That's why it is called a burger menu. And once you open it, then there is another node called modules. In that modules, you can find various modules. And once you click it, for example, in accounts payable, so you can see there are further grouping here. And previously there were in AX 2012 common, inquiries, and then reports, periodic, and setup. But now it is further flattened, and more folders or menus, submenus are available, which are like vendors and purchase orders. It is separate. Previously it was all in common, and then invoices or payments. Uh, so this is even further division in the module. So this is a better division or subdivision, you can call it. And definitely there is a workspace in before all, and then there are, for example, details master main tables like vendors are here, and then detailed transaction tables like purchase orders, vendor invoices are there. And then definitely there are journals like payments, and then also inquiries and reports. Like in the inquiries and reports, there are various inquiries and reports which are now merged. And then there is a periodic task which need to be regular task, and then setup and configuration things are there. So this is the usual sequence, and that need to be followed if you are creating a new module. So that need to be a similar structure, so that a user is finding it inconsistent with the existing modules. So but we are not definitely constrained to rigid structure. And definitely, there is not necessary that workspace is needed for module, but if it is needed, so that sequence need to be similar to the existing one. So now we need to just start with this session. So what we need to do is we need to add a new item. So we'll just right click on the project and go to the add, and go to the new item, or control shift A will also go to the directly to the new item. And then in D365 we need to go to the user interface. In the user interface, then we need to select the menu here, and then we need to give it a name, like since we are developing a resort management system, we will give it similar name just we have named our previous object. So that name will be pkr underscore resort, and in your case you can prefix as per your preferences. And so I will just give it a name like resort management system. And then, or I can remove the system itself, only resort management is good. So a new menu will be created definitely. And Then we need to also create a label for this, and for this menu, and there is a label property which we need to populate. So just go to our label file, open that file, and give it a name like resort management. So just we need to create a new label in the label file. So that will be, the label should be resort management. Just copy the same and place here in the label ID. Okay, and just copy this label and go to the new menu which we have created, and put in the label property. Okay, and once you have done, just save it, and then we just need to create by right clicking on the new menu. We just need to go to the new, and in the new we can see there is a sub menu option. So we'll just be creating by using this pop-up menu, option new, and then sub menu, because we'll be creating in the same way. Just I have shown you the consistent structure of each of the modules. So just create a sub menu. For example, we'll be needing almost 6 sub menus. So just first of all create around 6 sub menus, then we'll be just renaming and giving them proper labels. So this is sixth one, and just start with first one, and give it a name like workspaces, and then give it a name like resorts, because we'll be entering the main table for entering the resorts, and then booking orders, and I think we have already created resort booking table and the booking line which will be used in that one. And so the booking orders will be a sub menu, and then also the periodic periodic task. Please don't give any spaces between these words used in the sub menu names. Inquiries and reports, and then finally it will be a setup sub menu. In this way we have created various sub menus, and what we need to do is now give it proper labels. So we can just open the label for workspace, just put workspaces, and just click the three dots here. So now it will open the label file where you can find the existing label, and you can just click the match exactly instead of match text, and now you can use it. It is better you can directly go ahead and create your own label. And for this one I will use workspaces. Okay, and put it same in the label ID. And then we need resorts. Let me check if it is already existing. I don't think so. So I will just create resorts. Okay, copy the same to the label ID. Okay, and then we need also for booking orders. Okay, booking orders. Now just copy the label ID and paste first of all in workspaces here, and similarly resorts, go to the resorts and put the label in resorts submenu. And similarly the booking orders need to be put in the booking orders submenu. Okay, and now what we need to do is periodic task, and this label I have already noted, so I will use the sys label. uh, and if you want to check, you can just open and it will show you the periodic task. Similarly, inquiries and reports, I can also already use an existing sys label 3850 that will represent inquiries and reports. Okay, it is for inquiries. Okay, and for the setup, that need to be sys 33869. So that will be 3 times 3. Just to check it, you can go to the setup. Okay, that's fine. And inquiries and reports, we just need to check in existing inquiries and reports. So this is, if we see, so this full text should be there, inquiries and reports. So let me check the other one. So we will just create our own label in this case, because this is not representing the full text here. It is only showing inquiries, but we need inquiries and reports. So for that we need to just create our own label to be consistent, inquiries and reports. And the same text we need to put in ID and without spaces, capitalize inquiries and reports. Just copy this label and paste here. Okay, and now this will be inquiries and reports. So we can also add more submenus if needed. So just we need to save this. And now what we need to do, once we have created our menu, we can just go to the AOT. In the AOT we can see there is a main menu here, and we can just right click over the main menu and create an extension for this main menu in order for our menu to be part of that. So just create an extension, and it has already created here in main menu. And We can rename this as per our project name, that is resort management. That is enough. Instead of system, it's better to put only resort management in the solution as well. Remove the word system. So pkr underscore resort management is the main menu extension here. Okay, once we have done it, we need to just open this main menu, and now you can see this as per the structure of when we open the burger menu. So this is the same way. Now what we can do is just right click here, go to the new, and in the new we can see there is a menu reference item available here. So we can just click this menu reference item, and what we can do is we need to just name it as per our menu, that is pkr resort management. Okay, and then in the menu name we need to select our menu which we have created, that is pkr underscore resort management. So we have just created our menu in the, we have put our menu in the main menu, and now we can just build and see our changes. So after including after creating the menu item and creating a menu extension for main menu item, and inside that main menu item we created the resort management menu reference, and inside that menu name was given here, which we created the new menu. So after that we need to also put some display menu item for testing purpose, which definitely will create our new menu items for our forms, which we'll be creating next in the sessions. So for now, for testing, I have just went to the user interface, menu items and display, and then just pick up the when table menu item just by typing to there, and I just drag and drop on over the resort submenu. So once I have done that, so display menu item is placed here, and then I just build the project, and once it was built, I just relaunched the browser, and now you can see on the left hand side of modules, that is a main menu module, you can see there is a resort management menu available. So in that there is a sub menu which we have created with the name of resorts, and inside that menu submenu there is a display menu item called vendors for just testing purpose. For future we will just be placing our own display menu items, but for now you can see only one submenu in which there is some menu items available. If there are no menu items, so it will not display. So definitely in our you can see in our this menu, the new menu, we have created multiple submenus, but those are not appearing until we drag and drop the display or other menu item types in the submenus. Then only those submenus will be visible. This is by default the feature of menu here. So that's it for now, and we'll cover in coming session the forms one by one, and for session to keep a quick and brief, I will be just making it short so that everyone should not get bored, and it sounds interesting. So if you have any comments, just let me know. And just thank you very much for staying tuned, and thank you very much for crossing 1000 subscribers, but still there are needs for watch hours. So just watch my videos and just stay tuned. So now I will be more frequently uploading the new videos. Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Bye bye.